Just a quick video on how I did my swing gate, or my drop gate, and my swing gate. I decided to do the top hinge way of doing it, and at first I had this whole drop gate framed in with 1x4, but it was too heavy. So I went down to 1x2, and I put a 2x2 in there also. Actually, it's 1x2 with another one against it, but I tried to make it a 2x2 down the middle. I got this covered up, but you can kind of see up in there. I got some wiring and crap. I just put a handle underneath it to grab. You don't have to use that, but it's kind of nice. If you don't, and you grab it here, it kind of wants to flex a little bit. So I try to use that handle so it comes down evenly and doesn't flex. Not that it's hurting it, it's just me. But anyway, let me show you this real quick. Just drop straight down. It goes into place. I've got these two clips underneath here to bring it down. That one I never really have to use. It sets down perfectly. This one has a little bit of a warp in it. So if I want this track right here to set level, I just clamp it down and it comes right down. But these over here, they're always perfect. I never have a problem with them. So I just put the clamp in there to bring this down even. I also, you can see this maybe. I kind of file the edges of these contact tracks so that there's no chance for derail, and they work really good. So I have no trouble with trains rolling over these. Even this one, which has quite a gap in it, never have a problem. It rolls right across there, smooth as silk, and so does that one. So I have no problem with it. Anyway, all I did on this drop gate is I framed it up, and then I put some little pieces of plywood I cut. I screwed those in. You can see the screws underneath there, and I also glued it. I did the same over there. That'll be hidden. I'll probably make like a shed off of this building, and you'll never even see it. And then here I'll probably, I don't know, I'll put bushes or trees or something in to hide it. But yeah, I still have to paint it too. Desert color. You could just throw dirt over it and it would look like a mound. You probably wouldn't even be able to tell, but I'll probably disguise it a little bit. But anyway, you just put the hinge in there and then screw it down. Get some heavy duty hinges, and then you can see I shinned it just a little bit with a piece of styrene to get this up flat, level. So you might have to play with it a little bit, but once you get it in, it's good, man. I mean, it's not gonna go anywhere. It works really well. I've had no problems with it. So, and then to get it out of the way, you just push it back up. I have a bumper on the wall. It's just a big old kind of a door bumper. I put this 1x4 in to kind of support it. It's a heavy duty bumper. I have some tape around it that's coming off. I'll have to fix that, but you can see the old. I used to use that screw up there and it came back a little bit more, but it was kind of getting close to the building. So I put the bumper in, and to hold it there, I just latch it with a bungee on the outside. That's all I do. That's just a safety thing in case there's an earthquake. We do get earthquakes here, and I don't want that thing coming down. So another thing I just was looking at is maybe putting a shock in here. I might put one shock on this thing just so when it comes down by itself real slow. I was just looking at that. So as far as lining this thing up, all I did was use these brass, I don't know what they call them. They're just brass. I think they're called furniture pins or something. But I got 3 of them. You really only need 1 of them. And actually it doesn't even really need it. The gate always comes down the same spot. But you can see that on this side, you can see where I knocked, there's another side of that pin. Let me get one and I'll show you. This is what they look like. there's a female and a male end, and you just stick the female end, just drill it out, put a little wood glue or something to hold it. This one actually, I didn't need any wood glue. I just tapped it right in. This one over here is just, I don't even have the brass female end in here, and that pin goes right in there perfectly. So I've never had a problem. So I'm actually using 2 pins. One has the female in there. You really don't need it if you drill a good tight hole, but you can kind of see how it comes down and goes in there. And that's pretty good. It's more of a guide than anything. Some guys like to use a piece of wood. You know, you can use a piece of wood to catch, you know, like on both sides, and then put a piece of wood on the drop down and it goes right into that slot. You can do that too. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but it's not something fancy. It's just whatever works for you. But you have to get in your house, so, or wherever your layout is, you have to get through that spot. So that's why I use a drop gate. And it worked out for me. And I really didn't plan on doing that much on it, but it's actually become one of the busier parts of my layout. I've got crossing gates that work with sound. I've got a switch in there. I've got a switch down there. It's busy. So it's actually the heartbeat of my layout, which is kind of funny, but it just turned out that way. It's the centerpiece. So as far as the swing gate goes, it's nothing fancy. I'm still working on the look of it, but I just put a piece of plywood in. You want heavy duty plywood, like I think it's 5/8. Again, you don't want it to be too heavy, but I just used a couple of hinges, big gate hinges. They're like a couple bucks a piece. They're nothing fancy. That one you can't see because I've got the fascia in the way now, but it's just 2 or 3 of these, and I just put them on a piece of 2x2, made sure it was level and straight, and I'm gonna end up cutting this out. You can see where I have it scribed right there. So I can, if I have to, and I'm running trains, I can duck under and not have to open it. As far as the gate itself, it just goes right into place. And you can see that it lines up with the tracks. I did put this in here on this side, and it's just to help line the tracks up and keep them lined up. That's all that is. And then on this side, I just put this little hinge pin in. It goes right into the wood. And the same thing, it just sucks it right down in, and then it's all nice and straight and good to go. That's all that is, and it's solid. I mean, this thing does not move. I have no problems with anything derailing here. I got my main line coming through there. It works really, really good. So it is kind of daunting when you think about doing all this. A lot of people don't like them, but if you're in a spot like mine in the garage where I'm at, you might have to do it. Or even in a basement. A lot of times I see guys in basements that have to do something too, where they can't get through and they have to make a door. But it's nothing fancy, this thing. It's just, you can probably even engineer it better, but I've just got I just used some shelf brackets under here to, you know, square it off, and a couple of 1x4s to fur out for the fascia. Got some wiring under here. Nothing fancy. You can tell my wiring isn't the best, but this here I just need to put back on. I did have it screwed up here. I got to redo that. And it just goes right through to that other piece of the layout, and then that's it. So once that gate's dropped and you got power coming from that side to here, you don't need to put power from here to there because they just roll right across. So you got power on the bridge from over here, and they just come right across onto the main layout again, and off you go. So it works out really good. Like I said, there's probably a couple ways you could do this thing, but it's not rocket science. But the main thing is getting a nail in the end of these tracks or gluing them down right away once you find out where you want them, and then ballasting them so they don't move. That's the whole key. A lot of people do this and they don't ballast for a while. I just ballasted this yesterday. last night, actually, still drying. But then they move, or they hit them, or whatever. So get them into place where you want them, test them, put a nail in, like you can see I have a nail here. I got a nail here. You don't have to see, that one doesn't have a nail. That one does, it's black, you can't see it. Some of them, this one doesn't have a nail. There's a nail right there that's hidden. So you can put nails wherever you want. There's a nail right here. You really can't see them once you get them. You can paint them the same colors as ties. Once you get grease on the tracks, they blend in. So, but I tell you, it works. It works for me. And I've moved this layout 2 times, and it's every time was a different area and a different dimension. So I've had to restructure this layout. This is my 3rd time. I'm not doing it again. Anyway, that's it for the drop gate. As far as under here, it's nothing fancy. I'm gonna put something to hide all this. I'll put something, maybe some poster board or something that I can lift up, just something to block this. But yeah, that's it.